Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I am your host, Dennis Batholtis, and this is Future Man Season 2, Episode 5, J1, Judgment Day. Excuse me for the voice. I do have a bit of a cold going on right now, so you're going to have to forgive me if I start hacking in your ear there. I'm going to move off to the side if that does happen. And hello, everybody in the chat. And I've got my mystery cup of hot beverage here, too, as well, to help me through this. So, good episode. They're all good episodes, honestly. It's Future Man. I mean, Future Man that's why I'm savoring it. And I'm going episode by episode once a week here, because it's something that you need to savor and talk about. Again, it's like all the other shows that I cover. There's good stuff out there that you need to savor and talk about. Binging it, yeah, you can binge stuff, and it's you lose a lot of things when you binge it. So yeah, I don't have a plague as of yet, movie Fanobi, but it is close to it from what it feels like. So let's start off here. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode, why? What's going on, man? Go and see it. It's over on Hulu. You can sign up for a free 30-day account. Both season 1 and season 2 are up in its entirety. You can watch both of them and go and watch it, man. And then you can come on back, take a look at the video, and comment down below and join in on the fun. So I'm going to spoil the episode. Thank you, Viking Bitch. And away we go. So, of course, at the end of episode 4, we had, excuse me, I'm going to put on my glasses here so I can read. We had Wolf and Tiger. Tiger meets up with Wolf and Josh in the Nag. She snuck in and she says, "Get your shit together, we're leaving." And so they're crawling through the tunnel. And she goes, "Okay, we're here. We've only got another mile to go." And Josh's like, "What the hell, man?" He says, "We're going to go get the TTD anyway." And she goes, No, the TTD is fine. She goes, I have it in a safe place. And he goes, "No, it's over in the cave. That's why we need to go to the cave." They all want to go in their separate directions. So we see that they are fractured at this point. They are not firing on the same cylinders that they were in the beginning of, at the end of season 1, to tell you the truth. So, yeah. And it's kind of funny. Well, Tiger says, "Well, we can just go." Well, Josh actually says, "We can go get another TTD." And Tiger's like, "Nope, can't do it. That's the only TTD in existence. For some reason, there's no Cameronium in this timeline." And Wolf says, "Oh, that's probably my fault. I was friends with Arnold back in the late 80s, and he gave me a little studio back on the Universal lot. And there was a script that crossed my desk, T2, Judgment Day, Terminator 2 Judgment Day." And he says it was packed full of too many things that were, it basically reminded him of time travel too much. So he talked Arnold out of it. As he says, true artists never repeat themselves. and so James Cameron came in to try and talk Wolf into letting Arnold do it. And Wolf still remembers about Sigourney, what he did with Sigourney, even though James Cameron has no inkling of Sigourney at this point, and he needs a big hit because of what happened with The Abyss. Which, this is true. The Abyss kind of sunk James Cameron's career for a little bit there. A lot of people I love The Abyss as well. I had it on Laserdisc. It's a great movie. It's yeah, especially the extended version. That cut up version that they released in the theater, that was horrible. And I know he wanted to release the extended version, and they wouldn't let him in the studio. And that's the reason why, of course. So what does Wolf do? He beats the shit out of James Cameron. Beats him so bad he goes, and he had no idea why I was doing it. He was so confused. He beats him so badly that he quits film, goes and moves to the Carolinas shoreline, and builds boats by hand. So he never goes out to do any kind of oceanography work, and he never finds Cameronium. I mean, it's stuff like this. Just these little aside, and they're still crawling through the tunnels as he's relaying this whole story. That's what makes this show so good. I mean, it's this little aside. It's probably like maybe 2-3 minutes long We have a flashback of it, but it's so fucking funny at the same time, and it's great sci-fi humor as well for an alternate timeline. So they get out of the hole, out of the tunnel there, and they're and Josh says, "Well, we got to go get the TTD. It's back in the cave. I know where it's at. Well, kind of, sort of." And so Tiger is kind of tracking with him where he went. And she goes, "You were walking in circles for hours. What the hell?" And he says, "I was dying, you know." And she goes, "Wait a minute. There's something here." She goes, "Here's a hole where you drank." "No, you try to drink your own piss." And he goes, "No, no, I didn't." She goes, "Look at the claw marks in the dirt. So desperate." Yeah. Um, some really good stuff. So in the meantime, Wolf and Tiger are actually complaining. They're arguing about this future timeline. Wolf wants to stay as it is. He thinks it's fine. Tiger's like, "No, fuck this. We need to get the time travel device, go back and fix things because things are shit right now." And as they're looking for the cave, of course, they're ignoring Josh as they're looking for the cave and they're arguing. And she tells him that she went over to the Mons, and he goes, "Oh, I bet you killed a lot of biotics." And she goes, "No, they're not called biotics. They're called biotechs here. Completely different spelling," which I thought was kind of a nice little, biotics, biotechs, kind of similar spelling, yeah. And she says, "And they're just trying to leave and go to Mars." He goes, "What? Sounds like you moved in with the Choops, with the Chopes." And Josh goes, "What the hell's a chope?" And it's a chosen person, chosen people. And he goes, "Hey, I don't like the sounds of that. That sounds a little too racist." Oh, yeah, some really good stuff there. And Tiger, of course, as they are basically arguing over biotics now at this point too, because Tiger still hasn't told Wolf that she's a biotic or a biotech, however you want to call it. Josh is up on top of the hill because he thinks he knows where he's at. And of course, he gets kidnapped by the pointed circle at this point. Yeah, and by the time they're finished arguing, they notice that he's gone and has been kidnapped. And Tiger tracks him back. She goes, "Yep, they dragged him back to the cave." And she finds out where the cave's at. And she goes, "Okay, nothing like a hate charge. So get your rod out and get ready." And Wolf's like, "I don't know if I can do that." He goes, I don't know if I want to do that." He goes, "I don't want to cheat on my on my cluster." And he goes, it's 3 women and 2 men that are with me for life." Yeah, the hate charge, exactly, Viking bitch. Nothing like a good hate charge. And he says, and then of course Wolf starts going into as he puts it, pre-so play. He says, "Did you know that charging doesn't have to hurt?" She goes, "Of course it does. That's the friction that makes the fire." Which, my God, man, some of the stuff that's going on. And then he starts going into about nibbling on people's necks and, pinching a nipple and all this stuff and doing what Derek Wilson does best. Yeah, exactly. How he just kind of waxes poetic about it and gets that far off look in his eye. And you can see that she's kind of getting sick to her stomach. And she goes, "Yeah, you put your rat hole over them?" And he goes, "That's a different timeline. We eat beans now. And yes, I put my bean hole all over my my cluster mates." And she's like, "I'm gonna go over and self-charge and don't look at me and don't talk to me and don't make any noise and don't make any judgment about it. Otherwise, it's gonna take me longer." So she goes off to go and self-charge is what she ends up doing. And yeah, so we see Josh back in the cell, and Athena comes in and calls him a tool. And he goes, "Wait a minute, is a tool the same? Does it mean the same here as it did in my time?" She goes, "I don't know. What does it mean?" Someone who's pretty stupid." She goes, "Yeah, only more so from your case." She goes, "I'm glad you came back though, because of you would have died out in the desert, and unlike the other Josh who left in his bed sheets." And he's like, he all of a sudden gets that look in his eye, like, "Other Josh, what the hell?" This is where things start getting a little bit weird. So she leaves the cell, and he decides to check behind the pipes because he's in the same cell where he hid. And of course, there's another Josh there. This is J26 now, and he is freaking out. He is like piss scared at this point, talking about living in the black, which is, I guess, back in that hole there. The black provides for him. We don't get too much on that one. Yeah, I did like the child size restraints movie for Nobi. She goes, yes, and we're going to use, because of your slender wrists, we're going to use the child size restraints this time. So he's trying to get out of J26 what the hell they want with them, why they want to kill them. And he finds out that what they're going to do is they're going to upload their brain into Stu, crashing him because Stu is afraid of them. And that's what will crash them. And he says, just like a virus. And they're like, oh, just like Independence Day. They both say it at the same time. So we have another movie reference, of course, of Independence Day. Again, I love this show just because of all the stuff that they cram in here. It's all the little things that they do. And it's pretty funny. And yeah, Slurmy, this is where you can start getting confused because, and I'll get to it in a little bit at the end. I'll explain it. 6 minutes in, Ben went for a hate charge. Well, that's what happens. You got to do what you got to do. So J1 has a plan to get them out. He calls in the guard, tries to knock him out with a tray, which of course does not work. And J26 just comes in like a banshee screaming, and he's got a little shiv and just starts shiving the crap out of the guard. I mean, just shiving the crap out of him. Even Josh is like, what the fuck, man? He goes, where'd you get the shiv? He goes, the black gave it to me. It was a gift from the black. And then he goes, okay, let's go, because the door's open. They're going to leave. And Josh runs out the door. And it's kind of funny. J26 looks down at his hand and sees a shiv and goes, and drops it. He gets confused and drops it. Which leads you, his state of mind is really fucked at this point. So they're going down the hallway, trying to find a way out. Josh knows where the way out is. And of course, he wants to get the TTD as well. That's what he's looking for at first. And they hear some voices coming down the hallway. And Josh says, well, let's hide in here. And J26 freaks out and goes, no, never there, never in there. And he just starts screaming all kinds of nonsense, which, of course, attracts the guards. And Josh runs into the room that he's not supposed to go into. And J26 gets dragged away by the guards, screaming, no, I'm in there, I'm in there. And we see Josh is in a room with a pile of dead Joshes, a whole pile of them. Yeah, it's very kind of weird at this point. So Wolf and Tiger enter the cave, and J26 is put in the chair, and he's gonna get digitized. His brain's gonna be digitized and uploaded. And the guy who is administering this says, oh, I just adjusted this for you. It should be good. And he goes, but just in case. And he pulls out a bedpan. This is for the for the brain juice that comes out, is what he says, which is pretty nasty at that point. So he plugs his big ass needle in the back of J26's head. And he goes, are you getting these readings? That's what he says to Athena. Athena says, like, yeah, I see what's going on. And then all of a sudden he dies. And they're like, looks like it's a failure. But wait a minute. We still have a pulse. So he's still alive, but they don't know what happened to him exactly. It's at this point that Wolf and Tiger burst in through the door, kill the guy who's administering the test, and Tiger sees Athena behind the glass and recognizes her as Eunice. God, I can't remember her name now. And I have it here. Eunice Holgovy. And throws her knife at him. Or knife at her, excuse me. Crashes through the window, of course, misses it as well. So, I did like the one thing, though, too. Just before he inserts that big needle in the back of J26's neck, he goes, so I'll be in a computer world like Tron? And he goes, it's kind of funny. Every single one of you guys asked me if it's like Tron, and I don't know what Tron is. And he's gone through Josh's 27 through 60 at that point. So, yeah. So J26 was the latest in that line. So his body is barely alive, and Tiger and Wolf grab his body, throw it on top of a gurney, and they're wheeling it down the hall trying to get him out. And Josh, in the meantime, is trying to crawl over a pile of his own bodies to get to the door on the other side. And he's trying not to look at him. And I mean, just again, they have to throw in another pickle shot in there of, Josh's junk on the pile. And he's gingerly covering it over as he's, climbing over the bodies. And it's just pretty damn funny. They are not clones, by the way. I will get to where all the Joshes come from in a little bit at the end here, Slurmy. So, excuse me. As Josh climbs over the pile of bodies, they know Tiger and Wolf are trying to get out with J26's body, and it's beeping, showing that he's alive. And they're going, that beeping, it's got to, it means he's dying. Form CPK. And so Tiger just starts wailing on his chest and kills him. I'm like, okay, that's better. He's stable now. In the meantime, some guards come in to fight them, and they just beat the shit out of kill him completely. And in the meantime, J26's heart starts back up again. And Tiger, in the middle of the fight, she leaves the Wolf to finish off the rest of them as she kills J26 once again by performing some more CPK. Yes, Movie Finobi, that's what I'm going to say. But I'll get to that in a minute. And I love, we have, excuse me, Josh runs into the room with the TTD, and he's about to leave when Athena comes in and walks in to stop him. And Josh grabs a gun and tells Athena that he's going to leave, of course. And Athena's like, you know what? You're not leaving here. Not with that. She actually drops her arm, her knife that she has, her machete, excuse me. And she's talking about, she keeps walking towards him, talking about how, he thinks he's a hero, but he's not, and that he's killed more people than she has. She's only murdered one person. What is it? She said 39 times, something like that. So it's only been Josh's that she's murdered, but he, of course, took out a building full of people. And he goes, yeah, but it was for a good cause. And she goes, yeah, save me the story. I've heard it, 59 times already. Yeah, it is for a good cause. And that's another running joke too. The whole, he killed all those people in the crematorium, excuse me, for a good cause. Yeah, exactly. Pen Farm Girl. Clones would have the other prosthesis. So yeah. So she ends up kicking a stool into his knee, knocking him down, and then ramming the TTD into his throat, taking the TTD and taking off, leaving him there. Tiger and Wolf, in the meantime, run into that big guy who's got the his tongue ripped out. He's got the little breather in, and I can't remember what his name is. Unfortunately, he has another one of those Greek god names, and Wolf says, I can take him. I've been saving a tool just for somebody just like this. And he's got this little tiny tool. And she goes, what are you going to do with that tiny thing? And he goes, it's not the size of the tool. It's the motion of the craftsman that use it. She goes, yeah. Just go and do it. I did like that one. That was actually pretty damn funny, where she's like, yeah. I've heard that before, kind of thing. Just go and do it. And he goes to stab the guy, of course, in the leg, and he grabs him and kind of laughs. And she goes, he's mocking you, Wolf. He's mocking you. And so he finally ends up stabbing him in the leg, and the big guy's still laughing. He's like, what? And all of a sudden he goes down because he's bleeding pretty profusely from the leg. And he goes, yeah, I got you in the femoral artery. That's okay, big guy. Go to sleep. And he starts basically stroking the guy's face, taking out his respirator thing that he's got and comforting him as he's dying. And Tiger's like, what the fuck? She goes, this has got to be one of our lamest kills ever. In the meantime, they go back, he goes back over to her, and she goes, this flatline means that he's calm and stable, but I'm reading no pulse. And he goes, that's the reason why you can't trust technology. Wolf has gone full native at this point. And they're like, well, it was good while it lasted. And Wolf says, you know what? I'm not going to do another eulogy. I gave a kick-ass eulogy back. I wanted him to say back in episode 1 or episode 2, but he didn't. He just said back at the beginning when we first got here. He goes, I gave him a good eulogy because I'm not going to do it again. And just then Josh walks up behind them and he goes, no, keep talking. And she goes, no, I'll save it for next time when you die. And of course, they walk out of the cave. There's like, so what do we do with this body? What do we do with him? J26. So Josh shows them where the pile of Joshes are, and Wolf brings in the body and throws it on top of the other Joshes. And then he has a needle that he finds. He goes, hey, look, I found a needle in a pile of you, in a stack of you. I found a needle in a U stack, excuse me. And I wrote it down. He goes, hey, Josh, check it out. I found a needle in a U stack. And they start laughing. And Josh, of course, is finding no humor in that whatsoever. But yeah, again, some pretty damn good humor at this point. Yeah, sometimes they just blurt them out. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to. So they're walking out of the cave, and it explodes behind them as they leave, kind of like what we had in the mid-season of season 1, where they have the truck exploding with all the dead biotics that were in there, the catering truck. And Josh explains that he took the Cameronium out of the TTD because he knew that he wouldn't be able to defeat Athena, and she was going to actually probably more or less stop him. So he was able to take out the Cameronium, and he gives it to Tiger for safekeeping. And I love the line that he says. He goes, 12 monkeys me said the nag and the mons was in danger. I love that he actually references the sci-fi TV show 12 Monkeys Me, because it wasn't the 12 Monkeys the movie, but it was actually the TV show that he referenced. And I'm like, thank you guys for actually acknowledging another good sci-fi TV show, because damn, that was 12 Monkeys Me. Which just made me fucking laugh. And I'm like, he did just say that. That's awesome. So Josh ends up going with Wolf back to the nag, and Josh is like, you know what? I don't want to eat sewer mushrooms again. He goes, I don't think they'll make you do it again. Well, maybe not. Who knows? And Tiger's going to go and do some recon, as she says, which means she's actually going to go back to the Mons, and they have pagers to contact each other with boobs, because Josh shows them how to type in boobs on a pager. And they're going to meet over at Josh's piss hole as a rendezvous point. And they split up. They go their own separate ways. And that's where we're at. Yes. You missed a 5 there, Fanobi. It's 80085. Yeah. Because remember, it's got to be boobs. So good episode. Really good stuff. And so I know Slurming Scott was wondering what's going on with all the different Joshes. Well, just like they had Juice and Josh, we started seeing this already in season 1. They've fractured the timeline. They have alternate timelines now. So what they're doing is, what the pointed circle's been doing is going back in all these different alternate timelines. Every time they go back and grab somebody to bring a Josh to bring them back, it's from a different timeline that's fractured off. So if they've gone through and plucked 60 Joshes, that's 60 alternate timelines. So something's fucked at this point, like majorly fucked. Yeah. And they're not clones, that's for sure, as Penn Farm Girl noticed. And she had a good eye for that one. The equipment that the pile of Joshes had was not Wolf's equipment that Josh J1 has. Yeah. That's how you can tell them apart. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, I guess Penn does have an eye for the elephant trunks there. The original equipment, exactly. Slurmy has an eye for the street cock, though. So, yeah. Man. Mufinobi says, # boobs or Midwestern cannons, as they are sometimes described. I've never heard of Midwestern canons. There's a lot of different words I can use. I'm not going to because, at some point in time, I do want to get monetized, and I don't want to go into it too much. But there is, you can find it on YouTube. There's probably someone's put a YouTube video up of all the different slang terms for breastises. So, Ed Brewer, I killed those people for a good cause. Things a psychopath would say. Exactly. But the thing is, he did kill them for a good cause. What else do we have here? Yes, they're getting from alternate timelines. Filthy news. Oh, okay, that was a different thing about a different thing, not about this. So, a sculpted letter art by Viking Bitch says that pile of Josh's was creepy. Yeah. So, do you say Josh's or Joshi or Joshies? I don't know. And is it a pile or is it a murder of Josh's? Is it, a pride of Josh's? I don't know at this point. Oh no. Movie Finobi, no, don't do that. Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, Pen Farm Girl, you can't miss it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button too. If you don't like what you see, hit the dislike button. It's all good. If you want to see maybe when the next video is going to come up, it depends on if YouTube is working well or not. Hit the little bell as well. That'll tell you when my next video is going to be popping up when I have the stream running. Other than that, you're going to see a bunch of videos pop up over here. I keep pointing in the wrong direction. I was noticing now. You're going to see some videos pop up over here from my library that best match your interests if you're still on the fence about joining or not. And then you can hit the subscribe button over here. So, no notice at all tonight, huh, Slurmy? Yeah, I kind of figured as much. And considering that I did it 45 minutes beforehand, I actually moved it to 6:30 because of this whole cold thing that's going on. So I was running a little sluggish there. So, hey, Manel, I'm going to murder your last name, so I'm not going to say it. You're welcome. Thank you for joining in. And yeah, if you haven't seen Future Man, why the fuck not? Exactly. That was one of the funniest things. I actually tweeted Future Man on Hulu on Twitter. They said, you know what, if you haven't seen Future Man, why not? And I was like, yeah, exactly. I mean, I retweeted what they had posted, and I said, if you haven't seen it, what the hell's wrong with you? And they answered back to me saying, that's a great slogan. Maybe we should use that. If you haven't watched Future Man, why the fuck not? And I told him, yeah, that is what you're supposed to be doing, man, because that is your sense of humor, honestly. And that was funny. I mean, it made me laugh. I've actually gotten responses back now from both the Counterpart Writers Room and also from Future Man on Hulu. So obviously I'm doing something right here. Oh, man. Ed Brewer says, I got a late notice too. I look forward to Future Man recaps. Thank you, Ed Brewer. It's going to be every Friday night that I'm doing these. It usually starts at 6. Like I said, I had to knock it back to 6:30. There is booze in that cup, Pen Farm Girl. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, there's a little bit of moonshine in there. They're listening. The notice just came. Damn. It always happens at the end of the podcast. The notice comes out at the very end of the podcast. Yeah, Pen Farm Girl, I am going to add more. I will do the Punisher review at some point in time. I just don't know when. I've got to do it soon. I know that. I might do it tomorrow after, depending on what I feel like tomorrow. And after, Saturday morning blast off. Tomorrow morning is Saturday morning blast off at 10 a.m. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And if you haven't seen Saturday Morning Blast Off, it's basically all the genre news that's happened during the week, trailers, whatnot, and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. So it's usually a free-for-all in the chat, within reason, of course. And so keep talking and let the people come in who just got the notice. I don't want to talk too long. Yeah, you don't want to hear my voice with all the mucusy in it. Yeah, and like Viking Bitch says, gently stroke, or you can mash down the like button. You can always do a hate like if you like, kind of like a hate charge. Movie always says, if you're sick, we will miss you, but get better. So we are all okay if you have to switch your blast off. uh, I'm yeah, Pen Farm Girl. I've been drinking a lot of tea. There is what's been going on, and going through. I swear to God, I don't know how much mucus has come out of my nose, but it's been a lot. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Hate like, exactly. Hate charge. Get that rod ready. Uh, it's not the size of the tool, it's the motion of the craftsman that's welding it. Man, there's so many good lines. I mean, just some really good lines. I found a needle in a U stack. Hashtag TMI, but get yourself a hate charge. Exactly. True story. Yeah, honey. Well, okay. So you really want to know what's in here? So it's Earl Grey, some honey, because I ran out of honey. It was the last little bit that I had in there, and a little bit of moonshine. It really is just a little bit of it's like a apple pie moonshine, I believe, that I bought a while back. And I'm like, Jack Daniels or moonshine. Jack Daniels or moon. I'll go with the moonshine. So I put a little bit in just to give it a nice little touch to it. And it smooths out the vocal cords too. Yeah. By the way, I bought the apple pie moonshine before I saw Justified. I believe it's season 3, where the villain, she would kill people by giving them this apple pie moonshine that she had and putting poison in it, but the poison also tastes like apples too, so you wouldn't notice it. And yeah, so I haven't really touched it. I had it before, and I was like, shit, really? Yeah. And she's a great actress too. She's been in tons of stuff. She's actually in something right now, and I can't remember what it is. Yeah, and I can't remember. Yeah, it tasted like apple pie, exactly. I think it was strychnine or something like that she put in there. I can't remember offhand, but yeah, it was good. So with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go. Again, take a look at the videos for those of you on the fence over here, and then after that, you can hit the subscribe button if you like. Other than that, I'm gonna let you go for the evening. So don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up finding a needle in a U stack.